Hello guys, your boy Genius here with G Squared Tactical. Got something on the channel today that a lot of people, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people has told us via the comment section that we needed to review this gun or a variation of this 10mm. This is the XDm Elite 10mm. They were commenting on the Smith & Wesson 10mm video and the Glock 20 that I had done, basically telling me that this was better. This was a better gun overall. That's literally what everyone said, and that we needed to review this gun. Now, I'll get into a little bit towards the end of the video here about things I don't and do like about the gun, and whether or not I believe, just initially anyway, on the table, whether or not, you know, it lives up to the Smith & Wesson and of course the Glock 20, which up until this point has kind of been my favorite polymer go-to 10mm for concealability and so forth. But anyway, again, XDm Elite 10mm. This is the 3.8-inch match grade with the hammer forged slide with the 1 in 10 twist. This isn't the model that came with the Hex Dragonfly, as I'm not a huge fan of that, you know, that optic anyway. And I'll get into a little bit more about, you know, what I don't and do like about that option here towards the end of the video, as I mentioned. But either way, I wouldn't pay the MSRP or even close to the MSRP of $818 for the model with the Hex Dragonfly already either mounted or in the box. Now, the one they had at the store I went to, it was not mounted on the slide, but it was included in the box, I guess, for you to mount yourself. Which, you know, I mean, I kind of like. Maybe you don't want it, maybe you do. But either way, the MSRP on this one is like $653. I think I paid $569 plus tax, something like that. I think I was a shade over $600 with the tax on the gun. Does seem to be a very popular model. I hear people toss around the word affordable, as if maybe to suggest it's more affordable than the Glock 20 or the M&P 10mm. It's not. It's basically right there in the same price range as those two guns. But again, we'll get into a little bit of the features and determine whether or not it's better or worse, or you're getting more value for your money in this one, say, versus that one. It just does have the U-notch rear sight here, which, you know, Trey's a huge fan of that. I'm becoming a little bit of a fan of it. You know, it's all right. It's got the tactical ledge on there, so you wanted to do some one-hand racking of the slide. I've never been in a situation where I would have to do that, but hey, if you did, there you go. Got the loaded chamber indicator up here. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Does have the real deep separated, if you will, that's the best way I can describe it, front and rear slide serrations. I'm personally more of a fan of the slide serrations that are closer together. For me anyway, it seems like they give me better traction. I'm not a huge fan of how this looks or, you know, the functionality of it, but either way, does have front, does have rear slide serrations, the U-notch tactical ledge, back sight here, and the fiber optic, in this case red. Not sure if it came with any. I know some of my Springfields in the past came with the option to change that out with a, say, a green, or it gave you a little bit extra red if ever you wanted to change it out. But that's what you got here. Both of them are dovetailed in. Well, I'm not going to talk about that just yet. That's one of the things I want to say I do or don't like. Anyway, it does have a 3-slot pick rail here for you to, you know, attach your lights, lasers, whatever you want to put on there. That is there. The front of the trigger guard is serrated, nice squared off trigger guard. Seems to be. It doesn't say on the website or anything that it's oversized. Really good size. If you're wearing gloves or something, wouldn't be an issue whatsoever. Completely ambi. Old lefty Trey will really appreciate that. You know, ambi mag release, ambi slide lock, and, you know, of course it does have the grip safety on here, and which is common with the Springfield polymer setup or lineup, if you will. Does come with 3 numbered back straps, 1, 2, and 3. For me, the one that worked out the best was the middle, the number 2, which is typically the case about any back strap setup. If they come in a variant of small, medium, large, usually for me, the medium fits the best in my hand, feels the best. And the reason you want to think about that, or the reason that that's important, if you will, is because you can order a 15 round extended magazine for this that has the grip sleeve on there, but because of the way this Magwell pins in the rear here to the back strap, and then you also have the pin that, you know, left to right or right to left that you drive out just like you typically would to change out the back strap. You have to keep in mind which one is most comfortable for you, because when ordering that 15 round mag, you also would get the back strap with the magazine, so you'd want to know 1, 2, or 3 which one fits you the best before you ordered that magazine. Which I don't know if I am or I ain't. I guess, you know, for concealability, I guess I probably wouldn't. I'd probably keep it like this, but you know, it would be fun to shoot more rounds or have more available rounds when we go out to the range. Does come with 2 11 round magazines. I did put, this is a loaded magazine, I did load it up because it says on the rear in the window, the witness window there, it says 10, but the manufacturer spec said it was 2 11 round magazines, and indeed it does hold 11 rounds. I can only assume that this base plate here is a +1, because included in the box it did have 2 extra, more flush fitting magazine bottoms there. I guess if you wanted to remove this flared Magwell, because you can do that, you can remove it and just leave the back strap on there, and it does flush up real nicely. You don't see any of the metal on there or anything like that. So, and one of the first things I noticed when I went in the store and picked it up is how awkwardly my pinky finger, now there's a lot of guns, there's a lot of subcompact guns that you know, I can't get my pinky on there, but this made my pinky is like just crazy. Like, it was the most, I had everyone in the store, all of the, I mean literally every counter salesman in there to hold this gun to see where their pinky rode, and they mentioned to me that everyone that picks this model up ends up going with the more full-size model because of that. And I said, but can you not just take that off? And they were unsure about that. So when I got home last night after purchasing this gun, I took the back strap off, removed the Magwell, put the back strap back on, and indeed you can remove this flared Magwell. And when you do that and you stick this magazine, or you insert this magazine in, this black plastic here on the magazine flushes up nicely with the grip module here, and there's no gawkiness or odd lookingness or anything like that. Don't even know if that's a word, but I just said it. But, and it feels so much better in the hand without that flared Magwell on there. Now, I left it on there for the purposes of this review, and I'm also going to leave it on there when we go out to the range to see if I'm right that the way your pinky hits on that thing, you know, with a 10mm and a platform this small, you're going to want a good grip on this gun. You don't want any awkwardness going on down here. So I feel like it would probably affect the performance at the range, but I left it on there to see. We'll probably take it off when we do the range video to see if it's any different, feels any better, or we're able to use it any more effectively without it on there. Again, the 2 11 round magazines, it did come with 3 back straps, easily replaced. Just get you a 332 punch. I always punch the pin out, you know, on the side that the cartridges eject, or the casings rather eject. I know in the past that's the way they always came out. I guess that would be left to right. just to make it easy for me. But I'm pretty sure I seen in the instruction manual that you could go either way. It didn't really matter. I just always drive it out the same side that the spent casings come out of. Just makes it easier for me to remember that. But it came out really, really easy. Nothing like what the CZ or the H&K is. I mean, you're boom, boom, boom. Just like feel like you're beating. You're just gonna crack the whole back of your gun to get the pin out. But it's nothing like that at all. You know, it comes out really, really easy. You kind of have to wiggle and finagle this here because, like I said, it is pinned in the rear here as well. But it's relatively easy. It's not really difficult at all. The overall length on this is 6.75. The overall height is 4.58. That's without the optic. Add 1.25. If you were to put the optic on there, the width on this is 1.25. With the flared Magwell on there, it takes that out to 1.55, which is fairly significant. Again, most of the time I like guns with flared Magwells, like on the more full size one, because my pinky falls above it right here, right? And it tends to push my grip up. It doesn't allow my hand to slide down the gun. So in as much as the flared Magwell was designed for easier, faster reloads, for me, it always keeps my grip high, which is a good thing, especially for a 28 ounce, 10 millimeter. You want to have a good grip, just saying. Melanite finish, captive recoil system. Like I said, MSRP is about $653. You could probably find them in the store somewhere mid 500s. That's about what I found. The melanite finish is kind of dull, matte looking, if you will. I've never had a problem with melanite finish. I'm pretty sure Smith & Wesson uses a very similar finish. Tends to hold up very, very well. Very dull looking, as I said. You won't get any glare off of it or anything while you're shooting. And you don't mind roughing it up a little bit, putting it in and out of a holster. I love the way, much like the SIG, and I'm sure there's some others as well, but I really love the way that it takes down. That is one of the things that I like about the gun. You just lock the slide back, obviously with the mag out, chamber empty. You rotate it up, rotate the takedown here up, so I guess that would be clockwise, and then just simply take the slide off. You don't have to pull the trigger. If you messed around, I don't know why you would, but if you messed, it always makes me uncomfortable. I won't say what I was going to say because YouTube probably won't like that, but it always makes me uncomfortable to have to pull the trigger on the gun to get the slide off. And I really do like this setup, how easily that comes off and goes back in place. It's just a dream to take down. Easier than Glock, easier than any of the rest of them. So that would be one of the things that I like about it. I'm pretty sure I did mention that it's 28 ounces. So I'm just curious to get this to the range and see how this flared Magwell is going to affect how I shoot the gun. I just can't wait to find that out, because again, when I picked it up, I'm at the point now, I've bought so many guns in my life, I don't really look at the aesthetics of it. I don't really look at what it is, any of that kind of stuff. Just more or less, if someone asks for us to review the gun, I just ask to see it. And my first thoughts when I pick it up, I try to, screenshot that in my brain, if you will, so that I could say what was my very first thought about the gun when it was handed to me. And it was the way that pinky hit that flared Magwell right there. Just so awkward. And putting in the magazine does not help at all, because it makes it actually even more awkward feeling. So that's definitely one of the things about the gun that I do not like, is that flared Magwell. I love the way it looks on there. Don't know if I'm going to like it for functionality or not, but there's options there. Again, the 15 round magazine, and you can just completely pull it off. It has what they call the meta trigger, so it's match grade trigger assembly, flat face trigger. I believe that's a little different than some of the triggers I've had on past Springfields. But for them to make the comment that it's one of the best in any polymer frame 10 millimeter, no, I don't know. We took a lot of grief for knocking the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus about the trigger. Turns out that there was something wrong with that trigger. We did have to send it back. I don't think that's the case on this one, but I mean, it is a 4.9 pound trigger. Actually, when I did the trigger pull on the gun, my 3 average came up to about 4.79. So it is a little lighter than your Glocks and most of your other polymer frame guns. So it is a lighter trigger. But as far as it being one of the best available in a polymer striker fired 10 millimeter platform, I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, if you're going to make that statement, I'm not a trigger snob. Most of you guys know that. I'll just make adjustments, get used to a trigger. I usually won't focus on the trigger and talk exclusively about it. But if you're going to make that statement, then it has to be awesome, right? It has to be the best. Now, I do like the flat face and the way that it breaks. There's very little take up. Very little take up. It does have some take up, but it's small. It's a very predictable break. It breaks when you think it's going to break. You don't have any of that bodyguard, Smith & Wesson bodyguard, where you think, oh, wait a minute, it didn't break, oh, and then finally it breaks. No, it's a very predictable break. A little bit of take up. Doesn't feel gritty at all. It, like I said, it's about a 4.79 for me. They say it's a 4.9. And there's no over travel after it stops. And it does break at almost exactly at 90 degrees. So the reset's what's driving me crazy. And I did this in the store, and I hope you can hear this on camera. But for me, when I'm out at the range, I have my ear protection and stuff in, so I can't always hear the clicks. Sometimes on the camera you guys can. When I watch it back, I can hear the click or the pop, if you will, of the reset. But when I'm shooting with ear protection in, I'm more or less feeling for that tactile type reset. And let's see if you can hear. Okay, I hope you could hear that. When I was in the store, I'm like, dang man, that's a short reset right there. That's almost as good as a Canic. Nope, that wasn't a reset. That was a reset. So let's do that again. Yep, sounds exactly the same, and I promise you it feels exactly the same as a reset. Feels exactly the same. So you have this false reset, and you can feel it as a thing. It's just not something you can hear, it's something you can actually feel. Felt it. Felt it. It seemed exactly the same. It's almost like 2 resets. But of course the second one's the one that gives you the your second follow-up shot or what have you. So the last time I remember having a gun that done that was a CSX. Smith & Wesson had this false reset to it. And I will say that after we took it to the range and put about 100 or so rounds through it, it mostly stopped doing that. So I don't know if that'll happen here. I don't know exactly what that false reset is. I don't know if it's the trigger safety. I don't know what it is. Haven't really heard or watched any videos on anyone commenting on it, but I'm not a trigger snob. And yes, in the heat of the moment, if you needed to use this to defend yourself, are you going to be worried about? Probably not. In the broad scheme of things, it's probably not going to matter. But a lot of these guns are like range toys for us because we have so many to go out and review and so forth. And people want to see how accurately we shoot with them, how fast you get follow-up shots, so on and so forth, right? So with that being said, then in those situations, we are feeling for that reset. We want it to be short. We want it to be crisp. We want it to be tactile so we can get good follow-up shots and stay on target and so forth. And so in that case, just the range toy day, if you will, it will matter. Because I'm telling you, what I'll find myself doing is the same thing I did in the store. Oh, reset. No, that's not it. Got to do it 2 times. Nope, that ain't it. There it is. Don't know what that is. That's weird. The M&P 10mm did not do that. Of course, the Glock does not do that. I don't know what that is, but just shooting out at the range, trying to have a fun day at the range, that's really going to bug me. I really think that it's going to affect my shot. And I hope that maybe it will work itself out, whatever it is. If any of you guys know, let us know. Don't know if the range video will be up shortly after or before you see this one, but if you know whether or not it will, let us know. As I've already mentioned, some of the things in the box did come with a little spring, soft carrying cases you're accustomed to seeing with the Springfield, 2 11-round mags. I do like the fact that it is the metal mags, not polymer mags. Comes with a gun lock, and as I mentioned, it does come with these 2 flush fitting base plates for your magazine and 3 interchangeable back straps there, and then your little Springfield cardboard box you're accustomed to. You can order, and I have already ordered last night, my free optic plate. I ordered the Trigicon Hollison optic plate at www.ospplate.com and just ordered my free optic plate. Trey's done that a couple times with the Springfield that he had, and he got them relatively quick. So things that I like about it, I like the fact that it's ambi. It's all ambi. I like the fact that it seems to be very concealable. Does seem to be a very good build. And I don't know. The last time we had a big caliber in this gun, it was a 45 ACP, and I'm telling you, it was a painful gun to shoot in a 45, so I don't know how this 10mm is going to fare, because the Glock 20 handles it very, very well. The M&P handled it very, very well. Very well. And so, we'll see, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But things that aggravate me about this, we have this loaded chamber indicator up here, and for the life of me, I still can't understand why these manufacturers are making these optic ready guns with these loaded chamber indicators. I know they've always done that, but you have to change that up. I mean, because it's just spraying GSR all over your glass, and after about 15-20 shots, maybe 30 shots, you can barely even see through it anymore. It's just absolutely crazy. And then, yes, you do get a free plate, but come on, man, throw a couple plates in the box so people can go home and set up their guns if they have an optic for it, or maybe they bought one in the store, and put some suppressor height sights on these guns that have these optic options, or at least give them the option of ordering some suppressor height sights. Now, for me, I'm probably not going to put an optic on here unless I get it out to the range and it shocks and surprises me and I like it way more than I think I'm going to. Probably not going to put an optic on here, so it really doesn't matter to me. And for the sake of the review, I'm just going to shoot it like it is anyway. But I just feel like you should put some sights on your gun that will co-witness with an optic. If you're going to make an optic ready gun, put some plates in there, please. Overall, I like the gun. It's like FN for me. I want to like it. Can't wait to get it to the range because it is very concealable. It does seem to ride very well here. And there's nothing really not to just completely throw it out over. I mean, I think it's a well-built gun. It looks good. I like how it looks. But there are some things about it that I just don't like. Some of the things that I didn't like about them in the past. Thus the reason it's just now that we're getting around to taking a look at this gun. Anyway, if I left anything out, if I said something wrong, hey, politely let us know. Ask any questions you have. I'm sure I left something out. If I did, I'm sorry. We really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure that you subscribe. We can't do this without you. We also have a platform on Rumble now. Go over there and find us on Rumble. Make sure you follow us there as well. And again, we super appreciate you guys watching our videos and hitting that thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. Have a great day.